So let me tell you a story. When I was in high school and I was starting to read nonfiction books, I started with the 10x rule. And, first thing I wanted to 10x was the amount I was reading. And, I was I wanted to be like those one book a week guys that I saw on the internet and I admired. And, I tried all sorts of things. And over just about 2-3 years from that point, I think I know pretty much everything you need to reach that, or whether you need to reach that. Um, and okay, the first crucial limiting belief that you must break is that reading the whole book cover to cover, you don't need to do that. Like, yeah, there are use cases for it. Like, if you're reading for just for fun or like entertainment and whatever, you just want to chill with like a good book, yeah, do that. By all means, do that, because it's an amazing way to spend time and it's way more productive than, you know, scrolling on social media or whatever. Then yeah, that sure, do that. But I'm talking about the times when you want to use the book or the contents in it for like the problem solving. The times where you start to read deep work in order to start working more efficiently. When you start reading like 5 a.m. Club to start waking up at 5 or develop a morning routine. And the thing I want you to know is that you don't need to read the book cover to cover. You can just go through the chapters that interest you the most and you think would be the most impactful. Start doing those things, and then go back to the rest that you think that would be still useful, and yeah, stuff you don't consider useful at all, you can just skip that. And how do you know, like, why is this chapter gonna be useful and not that one? Simple. You read the summary. You ask ChatGPT to make you one, or you go onto YouTube, you look up those like video summaries of books. Like, you genuinely want to know the breakdown of a book before you start reading it, because can you imagine like reading for 7, 8, 10 hours only to walk away with like 2-3 pieces of information that were in the same chapter, or in like 2-3 chapters, instead of and you could have just read those 3 chapters instead of like 10, 16, whatever. Like, yeah, that would be a way more efficient use of your time, and you could spend more time actually doing the thing that is fucking life-changing. And the point of that is like, yeah, you just need to know what part is going to be useful to you. And if you like the style of the author, like, and I'll be honest here, I started reading like 5 a.m. Club, and I got the summary, I got the chapters that are going to be the most impactful, but then I started reading it from the front, like after reading reading the most important thing once, because I just love the way that the writer is writing it. Like, I like the 1001 good quotes in here. And literally this book is like, you've kind of bought like a fucking book that is gonna teach you how to wake up at 5 a.m. That is gonna teach you about the morning routine, but on the as a bonus, you get a boatload of amazing quotes. It's like you get it on top of the book, like a commonplace book full of amazing quotes. And it's like, yeah, I like that. I like those quotes, and I like the way the author is actually, saying about those things. And someone say, oh, but there is a benefit in you consuming the piece of information with like a certain mindset, that, while spending time thinking that way, it engraves that mindset in you. Yes, that is true. But you can do that after you got the most granular things out of the book. already, you are taking action on them. Because one thing I realized, like, when people are reading book front to cover, there's three types of people. One type of people finishes the book and starts taking action. Second type of people is the people who take the action as they read. So today I read this chapter and I take this action step type of guy. And then there is like third type of people. People who finish the book kind of speedrunning it. And, you know, people who kind of like go through the book, like they just storm through the book and like go to the next thing and like don't look back. Maybe took like some of the like action steps they remember, but you know, they just, you know, forget half of the way, like half of the fucking book very quickly. And believe me, I was kind of all of free at times. Where sometimes I just stormed through the book and I was like forgetting to do the action step a while after. And yeah, sometimes some books just take time. Like with some books you may be stuck for like a long time. You know, like for in some areas like making progress just takes way more time, so you're gonna be stuck with this book, for example, more than I was stuck with like with Deep Work. I was stuck with that book way less than with a 5 a.m. club because, you know, starting to do the deep work was actually way easier to do consistently than to wake up at 5 a.m. and do like a morning and like have like a consistent morning routine, at least for me. And yeah, it's like overall, so that's like the first lesson. Get the summaries and you will like save time reading stuff you don't need. Second thing you can do, which is, you know, arguably even more impactful, is just make it convenient for yourself. Because yeah, it's nice reading like a paperback like this and just sitting like in your chair or on your couch or whatever, but there are like places or windows of time where you, like, you know, you wouldn't take your usual like paperback. And if you want to like maximize your time reading, I would say just make it convenient for yourself is the way to go around it. Like, yeah, when I had like a habit tracker and was like reading 1 hour every day, I was quite consistent at it. But when I started tracking my time, I realized, wait, even in periods where I don't track reading, you know, in my usual place, usual habit, you know, environment, like when I stopped, like, you know, like even when, for example, even when I was like not reading with my usual routine, like the time and place and such, and I, you know, kind of replaced that window, I was still finding myself reading similar amount of time, if not more, than what I've changed in those times. I just got a Kindle. Like, I stopped reading at my desk with like fucking with a nice lamp here and you know, and an open notebook. I just started reading with like my Kindle on the bed, just kind of like going through the book, just click after click, just before like falling asleep, or like till I was like falling asleep. And literally, like, one thing that was really interesting about it was like I was spending more time reading in total, just because I made it like, you know, not a chore, but something I was looking forward to, and something that was like so comfortable to do that I craved it. And, you know, in that regard, I would say do whatever it takes to just make it as comfortable for you as it is possible. Because when you make reading like, you're kind of like you know, when you make reading like so comfortable, it becomes as, you know, addicting as like scrolling on like social media, because it's like, you know, you just fucking do it a lot of the times. Like, I had times where I had like few days in a row where I didn't use my phone at all. Like, at all. Like, I had 0 fucking minutes of screen time. And how is that? Well, I didn't check my messages on my phone or anything. I was just using my computer and, my Kindle. And that was because I was fucking binging like a novel or whatever, like, or I was like rereading like a Harry Potter series just for fun and for like dopamine detox. Because yeah, anyhow, so making it convenient for yourself is not only about, oh, get a Kindle like I did. No, I'm not trying to sell you one, even though it takes like what, $20 to buy like a base Kindle, and if you want something better, maybe a bit more. Anyhow, I feel like yeah, another thing that really helped me with like the amount of books I was going through, even though it's a bit inferior method often. Like, yeah, it is both inferior and superior because depending on the source of audiobooks you go through. When I was back in high school, I used to listen to the audiobooks on YouTube, and you will find a lot of great, very popular. You will find like a lot of great audiobooks there with like non-fiction. The more popular, the more popular titles will be there. The Atomic Habits, for How to Win Friends and Influence People, like yeah, those classic self-improvement book you get in every bookstore. You will find them online pretty much, even for free. But I think like an Audible subscription, even though it is a bit pricey, I think it's pretty worth it, because with those like free audiobooks, like YouTube videos and maybe on some on Spotify, it's a bit of a hit or miss. A lot of the times you don't get timestamps of like chapters and whatever, and it gets a bit annoying if you want to like go through the book, like if you want to go straight to the point that interests you. Like, let's say you went through the summary and then there's an audiobook and you can't really go straight to the point. That takes us, getting like an Audible subscription or other subscription with like, another subscription with like audiobook app or whatever would fix that issue. But another thing you can do is while you are at the summary stage, when you are selecting the books to read, you kind of browse through the summaries and you go through like the main core themes and such, and thesis or whatever it's called. Then you kind of can decide where the book is. Like, yeah, after a while you'll be able to like decide like where the book is more optimized for listening to it in like an audiobook form, or more towards the form of just kind of like physical book form, or like the Kindle. Like, that is like kind of important differentiations, because like there are books that are perfect in an audiobook form. Like, for example, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Can't Hurt Me. Like, the aspects that are hints of the book being like great for like the audiobook format is when the book is very heavily story based. Like, it's a great it's a great hint that it will be amazing in an audiobook form. But when the book is more kind of there are just books that like you want to go through like the paper, because it's like, yeah, you need to like stop every now and then and really think like, whoa, this is deep, or something that's like or like, what the fuck did that mean? Like, the kind of books like, yeah, Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, that book, like, some parts of it are great for like the audiobook format, and some parts of it are like, audiobook format doesn't give it justice. Like, you just have to like read some parts of it with your own eyes and really go over and over and over and over again at some parts of it, because it's like to fully understand, like not even to fully understand, because it's a bit archaic or whatever. And yeah, you need to like go over like some sentences like over and over, maybe Google something, and to like fully understand what did the author mean in this sentence or whatever. Generally, very like heavy, cognitively dense philosophy books will be more suitable just in paper or in Kindle format, where you can just go over the same sentence over and over without needing to like fucking go back 15 seconds and sometimes like listen to something else that just kind of distracts you. Like, in some form, like, audiobooks are more distracting, but like for certain stories, audiobooks are actually better. Like, for example, Can't Hurt Me has like better audiobook than the book itself, because of the additional kind of like podcast style episodes after each chapter, which are amazing. And Canter Me is a book that is absolutely worth reading in paperback first to get your own thoughts on the topic, and then like after a while to listen to it in the audiobook format, because I feel like it's super worth it. It's absolutely astoundingly worth it, and you should do that if you ever go through it. And so let's summarize it quickly into a few action steps. First, you want to go through a summary before you go through the book itself to map out the most important chapters and points of the book. Second of all, you want to decide whether you want to ingest the book in like audiobook format or just reading it. General guidelines for that is like story-based books are gonna like go well with the audiobook format, but more granular, cognitively dense books like philosophy, like heavy philosophy, like pure philosophy, not like kind of like indirect philosophy books, but just direct philosophy books are gonna be more more for reading in paper or on your Kindle. The third thing, which is make reading or the ingesting of make learning from books just convenient for yourself. So either use audiobooks whenever you can, like listening to an audiobook when you are driving or when you're like commuting by train or whatever, or maybe while going for a walk. Those types of places are brilliant. That's like a pretty nice way to like get extra few hours every week for learning. And if you want you should just try out the Kindle. The fourth thing is like spending money on yourself. Your learning is gonna be always always gonna have this return. So whether you buy like a subscription of audiobooks or you buy like that $20 Kindle, just try it. Like, you will not regret it. And especially with Kindle, like if you don't like the Kindle, you can just sell it back and like pretty much not lose any money on it. Maybe a few bucks, but for real, bro. And that's about it. If you liked the video, you can leave a like or subscribe for more, and I will try to give you the best value possible about learning. See ya.